there, wedding enthusiasts. Welcome to Bridal Hype.
The podcast where we chat about everything under the wedding sun. No filter, all fun.
That's right. We're here to laugh, cringe, and celebrate all the wild and wonderful moments that comes with saying, I do.
From the latest trends that makes us go, really, to the epic fails that keeps us awake at night. We've got it all.
So whether you're tying the knot, planning the perfect day, or just love a good wedding story, you're in the right place.
Let's crank up the hype and celebrate the wonderful chaos of weddings together.
Welcome back to the podcast where we're all about helping you plan a wedding that's unforgettable and as stress-free as possible.
Today we're talking about something every planner, bride, groom, and even vendors deal with at some point. Cancellations and unforeseen circumstances. Because let's be real, life doesn't care if it's your wedding day.
But don't worry, we're going to walk through exactly how to handle these situations. Keep your cool and make sure your big day still turns out amazing.
So, if you're ready to learn how to turn wedding surprises into wedding wins, grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's dive right in.
The reality of wedding day surprises. First off, let's acknowledge that cancellations and last-minute changes happen in every industry, but in weddings they can feel especially tense. Why is that? Because you've been planning this day for months or even years, and there's a lot riding on every detail.
But here's the thing, a wedding day doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. Sometimes the most memorable weddings are the ones where things didn't go exactly according to plan. I know planners who've had florists cancel last minute, or the DJ fall ill on the day of the event, and guess what? They still made it work. The key is to be prepared, stay calm, and have backup plans.
Remember, every challenge can be turned into an opportunity for something even more magical. So let's talk about how.
Any experiences that you've had, Linka?
I've had a makeup artist, Shame. She had a flat tire on her way to the wedding day. But luckily no cancellations specifically. I've had a florist drop me for not one, not two, but 3 weddings 2 months prior to each of those weddings, and I was furious. I felt very let down because I had a very good relationship with this company and they just decided they unfortunately can't assist me anymore. I was heartbroken, and it was even more difficult to tell the couple.
I've had a DJ that fell ill, quite coincidentally. He did tell me the morning or the week of he felt like he had COVID, or he was just had a stomach bug, or whatever the case may be, and then he did get someone else in or backup plan, which was perfectly fine. There wasn't any issues on the day. The client was also happy, so there wasn't a massive hiccup. I've had, obviously, not florists cancel on me, that's horrible, but I've had florists under delivering on what they were promised.
Oh, yes.
And I think that in itself was a whole different ball game to how do you really rectify that, because surely the client would need some kind of compensation back, but they need the reference images of it, so I can easily go and buy more flowers and add it in and make sure it still looks amazing, because that's essentially what you want to do for your client. But where do you draw the line?
That's not your job. You're not supposed to have to add.
Exactly. And where all the florist takes the photos that you've actually recreated her pieces to make it look like the client wants it. And given I've spoken to this florist, I've asked on the day, I've spoken the day before, like I've tried everything I could in that possible moment, but it is heartbreaking if something like this happens. So
overpromise and under-delivering is the worst.
It is.
Don't do that.
It definitely is. I do hold my suppliers accountable, and I think that's why we are there, for that specific reason. But your unforeseen circumstances, something like that is definitely unforeseen.
Yes.
I've also had, when I worked in the staffing side of things, obviously staff members fall ill, last minute cancellations, then you have to make plans. I've once, and my manager will kill me if he knows this, he's never known, I forgot about an event. Oopsie! I forgot about scheduling staff for a specific event. It wasn't it was in town somewhere, and I think a villa. It was small. It's like 3 or 4 waiters that we needed. So it wasn't a massive crisis. But I just didn't confirm the waiters. So everyone's like, are we working? Are we not working? Okay, I'm going to work here. I'm going to work there, whatever the case may be. And literally the day before people had to go, I was like, oh, goodness, I never scheduled waiters for this. Wait, rushing. Luckily, the academy came to my rescue. And 2 trustees went there. And I like swapped a few staff around for the other stagnant venues that we worked at. But yeah, made it work last minute. And I was very upset with myself, but I don't think I will ever forget that again.
Was dit ons nie? Was dit ons jaar?
Dit was julle jaar. Laas my gaan Kaap toe asseblief.
Gaan vinnig.
Jy gaan nie meer by Loudens se werk nie, jy gaan nou in die Kaap werk. Okay.
Oh, sorry net.
Sorry net.
GPS.
Ja, jy is in die location. Detour, yeah.
I actually also had a DJ Sham fall ill at the wedding, but he was such a trooper. He pushed through. I gave him some medication. He had a bladder infection, Sham, and immediately when he arrived, he was happy and bubbly, but not as positive as I normally know him to be. And I immediately picked up something, and he didn't initially tell me. Shame, he felt so bad. He always goes above and beyond for all his DJ gigs, and I felt so bad, and I just really wanted to help him. I checked in on him every 30 minutes, tried and gave him as much water and medication that we've had on site. I sent his assistant to go and buy whatever he needed. I phoned my dad because he's a doctor, and I was like, what can I give this guy? It is 6 o'clock and he needs to go until 1 o'clock, so please help me out. We need to get this guy ready. Shame, but he such a trooper. He pushed through, although he was feeling terrible.
Very terrible. I had a photographer that she rocked up. She was okay. She had a bit of the sniffles, like we would say, like runny nose.
As I do have now, so if I do sound nasally, my apologies.
Bear with her. But it was May, so it was towards the end of the season, and it's becoming colder, so a lot of people were up and down in terms of illnesses. Luckily, I wasn't ill at that time. My assistant, she was a little bit ill during the week, and then the photographer had a bit of sniffles, and then as the day progressed, she just became worse. And after ceremony, I said to her, I need to give you something now so that you can stay until 10. And I made this concoction with like fizzy tablets and everything, and it kept her going, and she went home. And the next day she messaged me and she's like, I'm man down in bed. I do not know how I did that wedding, but thank you. And it really just shows that sometimes we have to think outside the box, have anything on us to make this situation amazing. I mean, if that photographer would have left and only a second shooter would have shot, I do not know what I would have done. It was unfortunately a bit of a stressful client as well. So, yeah.
We are so dependent on our team on the day. We need to look after them and make sure that they are as comfortable as possible.
All right. Let's start with the most important rule for handling unforeseen circumstances. Preparation is everything. Hence us being planners. Preparation is everything. Here's a little secret that wedding planners use. They don't just have a plan A, a plan B or C. We sometimes have even a plan D to Z. This doesn't mean they're pessimistic. It means that we are realistic and ready for anything.
If you are working with a wedding planner, they'll likely have backup vendors, alternative setups, and emergency protocols in place, even if we do not inform you about it. At the back end, we have everything ready to go. If you are planning yourself or with family and friends, you can still do this. So make a list of each critical component: the venue, catering, photographer, music, etc. and consider what your options would be if any of these vendors couldn't make it.
I've actually known of we had this kind of conversation once. This cake was going to be like a centerpiece, and it was this beautiful sugar art on the cake. Like, it literally looked like the cake had wings as it was going up. Like this 4-tier wedding cake, everything. And the cake lady didn't get hold of her constantly followed up. Wedding planner followed up with her 2 to 3 days before. All of that. And literally by the time the reception was the time the ceremony was done and the cake lady was still not there, they're busy with pre-dinner drinks, the coordinator reached out to us and be like, is there any coordinate or any cake people you can ask that can help me, that can assist me, that maybe sell cakes, that has a cake, etc., etc. And then they phoned one of the suppliers I actually regularly use. She's based in Somerset West, so she could go through. She went through, they bought 2 cakes at Woolies, different size cakes at Woolies. She just brought icing because obviously she couldn't make another cake. She just brought icing and a few things that she can maybe do something. It wouldn't have been the same elaboration. Like, I mean, they easily paid $7,000 for this wedding cake, and then they got 2 Woolies cakes stuck on top of each other and beautifully iced. It saved the day that there was a cake and that the table still made it look amazing, but it wasn't what they've ordered. No. I don't know what the end of the story was there in terms of costings and refunds and stuff, but it's insane. Like, I would run away.
Shame. It's not like she had just overslept, because after ceremony, that's quite late in the day.
Quite late in the day, and like the planner said, they phoned like numerous times.
I wonder what happened.
Get hold.
Shame. Yeah. No, that's
terrible. So yeah, that's where the plan A, B, C, D, F to Z
and
goes.
Z comes to play.
All right. Say you've got a vendor who's cancelled last minute. Maybe your efficient got sick, or photographer had an emergency. Don't panic. Here's the game plan.
The vendor network. One of the best things about the wedding industry is that vendors know other vendors. If a vendor has to cancel, often they'll have contacts who can step in. Planners are pros at tapping into their networks to find a quick replacement. So don't hesitate to ask your vendor if they have any recommendations in case they can't make it. Many professionals have backup options ready just in case. Same with me and Elisma. If we have this agreement where if either one, touch wood, were to get sick and we are physically not capable of doing the wedding, or we are in hospital, then either one of us would step in, take the final program and run with the wedding for the day.
Exactly. We do help each other out, and that also stems for the community that we have. We've got this coordinators community group where we do tap into those connections, into those assistance, help a sister out vibe, and the support that we need for any backup should there be. So yeah, that's kind of where we stem for all our stuff. Should anything happen to us, we've got our protocols in place. We need to obviously make sure that our clients are well at ease with everything. Oh, actually one story I wanted to tell when I saw the efficient part now. So I actually know on efficient, it's again that wedding we traveled to Port Nolloth for. I worked with I was a student still, so I worked with another coordinator. And the day before the wedding, she was keeping in contact with the minister throughout. And the day, like literally the night before at 7 p.m. Now, given we destination, the efficient phone and said, he unfortunately can't help. He's in hospital. His hand is being amputated. And it turns out I don't know if he fell or something, but he got a screw in his thumb and it got infected. And he was okay, but it got so far infected that they needed to amputate his hand. We were actually quite frustrated with the situation because given that he was not feeling well, he would have started not feeling well already that Monday.
That's tragic.
It turned out that the client then had to drive from the border straight through to Springbok, as far as I have it, to their municipality, do the legal stuff and everything there, sit at the Home Affairs. They had to drive from the border to Home Affairs in Springbok. They had to sit and wait there for an appointment, go in, do all the paperwork, get all of that done, get their legal wedding license, then come back to where we were and then only have the wedding. The wedding was 4 hours delayed. I was playing with the one boy there. He was mine.
She was busy being an au pair.
Yes. The guest arrived obviously so early, so we very slowly sent out canapes, keep them entertained, which should have been a day wedding turned into an evening wedding. So yeah, that was quite intense.
Yo, that is hectic.
So glad that wasn't me. I was the planner.
Definitely, yo.
Goodness.
That's tricky.
Okay. Point number 2. Have a point person for emergency, but choose someone reliable, like a trusted family friend or bridesmaid, to handle any surprises on the big day. This person can be the point of contact for the vendors, so you don't have to worry about dealing with last minute issues yourself. They can be the one to make the calls, find substitutes, or figure out alternatives without stressing you out.
Stay flexible with your timeline. If you're faced with a last minute change, sometimes a little flexibility in your schedule can literally save the day. Maybe the new DJ can't arrive until an hour later, or the replacement florist needs extra time to set up. Being open to slight timeline adjustments will only help make these surprises feel a lot less stressful.
Be open to creative solutions. Sometimes you might have to get creative. If your photographer can't make it, maybe guests can help snap photos with disposable cameras. You can have a professional edit team later. Or, if your cake delivery is delayed, set up a cute dessert station with cupcakes or cookies until it arrives. Flexibility and creativity goes a long way in keeping your celebration joyful and memorable. Alright, we've covered some tactical strategies, but there's one more critical piece of advice. Stay calm and enjoy your day. It's easy to let stress take over when things go off plan, but remember, the most important part of your wedding day is celebrating your love with the people who matter the most.
Guests will remember the joy, the dancing, the laughter, and the celebration of love. They're unlikely to remember if a vendor was a few minutes late or if the weather wasn't perfect. So roll with the punches, trust your planner and your loved ones, and focus on the amazing experience you are creating.
Sometimes the best memories comes from unexpected moments. So whether it's a quick rain dance with your guest or a funny mishap during your vows, embrace the uniqueness of your day. It will be a beautiful story you can look back on for years to come. Now, my question is a topic we haven't discussed, because this happens sometimes as well. Have you ever had any clients cancel on you or break up?
Cancel their wedding. Yes, I unfortunately have had 2 instances where I saw the red lights from the start, and the situation progressed where the mother of the bride was absolutely toxic. She started manipulating me. The way she spoke to me over the phone was disgusting. I had her on loudspeaker and my mom actually overheard the conversation, and she just stood there with her mouth wide open looking at me and frowning like, how can you allow her to talk to you like this? And she was unhappy about all the little details. She wanted to have the wedding planned and done, paid and signed off 6 months before the wedding.
Well, that never happened.
No, it's crazy. A lot can happen in 6 months.
3 months before the wedding, the bride changes her mind on everything.
Literally.
And then you have to replan a whole wedding.
And if you want to pay your invoices in full and you 6 months ahead of time and you are changing your amount and your quantities the entire time, the decor companies are not going to refund you 50 million times.
No, they're not.
No. So
some even charge you a cancellation fee.
Exactly, but that's also what I tried to explain to this mother, and I really tried to go above and beyond for her and for her daughter, as it is my
passion.
Yes, and I really do try and make it as special for them as possible, but the bride was actually sitting in another country, so I met up with this mother twice. I did a site visit with her. I tried to keep her calm. She was bugging all of my poor suppliers. She was so entitled, and not just that, the way she handled everyone, it leaves you with a bitter taste in your mouth. And
the lack of respect.
Yes, and the one phone call we actually had was on a Sunday. She was phoning me the Friday evening, and I was still busy on site doing the lighting setup at a different venue in Franschhoek. And I told her, I'm so sorry, I can't get back to you right now. I'm on site busy with setup for another client. She said I need to phone her back immediately. So I ignored the message. The next day, the morning, I was in the church busy with setup at 7 o'clock already. She phones me again. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Later that afternoon, I told her, I'm going into ceremony now. I can't talk to you right now. I'll get back to you as soon as possible, either the Sunday or the Monday. Bear with me. Then at 2 o'clock...
Because you need to respect the client that you're busy with wedding.
Respect is not in this auntie's vocabulary, I promise you. And then when we had the ceremony, she kept on phoning me up until a point where I was keeping in contact with the photographers when they arrived at the church. So at that point, I didn't have my phone on airplane mode. She was bugging me. I think she called me 5 times and I had to put my phone off.
Oh my
It was crazy. I told her, I'm busy with another wedding.
That's a risk. That's a risk, putting your phone off.
All the suppliers need, especially if you are spread out on different locations, they need to get a hold of you. They're already arriving at the venue, having to set up. You
but
need
now
to...
this Tanny is phoning you.
I was furious. So then on the Sunday morning, after being booked until 2 o'clock, I got home at 3:30, got back into the venue on the Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, did break time. I got home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and there she was phoning me again. And I picked up the phone and I explained to her the situation and she didn't care. She did not care for a single second. And all she could say was, but when am I getting this? And when will you have this done? And when are we discussing that? And then, mind you, the underplates she wanted, I contacted my supplier. I got them for a certain price and she was unhappy with them. It was 20 Rand an underplate. And then she said that she can courier them from Durban because they cost 15 Rand in Durban.
But then it's going to anyway work out on 25 Rand an underplate.
Exactly, with all your courier costs. Like, hello. I tried to look out for them and tried to save them around every corner that I physically could. Save them. But the way she was scolding me on the phone, shouting at me, cussing at me, I was just like, I am so sorry. It was in the spur of the moment where I told her, I'm sorry, I don't think we can work together anymore. And she had this chuckle in her voice saying, oh, so what you're going to do? You're going to pay my money back? I said, absolutely, every last cent. And she said, oh, and when will we get that? I told her, as soon as I get your banking details. So I told her, I'm so sorry. The bride was on this call as well. She did not step in one single moment or back me up because me and her, we had a good relationship. This mom kept on bugging in and it ended with me just saying, I'm very sorry, but I'm stepping away because you are so verbally abusive at this point of the fight. I don't see how we can work together and how I'm going to do your daughter's wedding. Sorry, bye. Got off the phone, paid her whole amount, the entire amount. I just paid instantly, immediate payment, sent a proof of payment, left the group, forgot about it.
Done. Oh wow, that's intense.
No, it was very bad.
That's intense. Oh my goodness. Okay, I haven't had anything like that. I've had a few instances where I really felt like I needed to either put my foot down with this client or I need to be like, cool, no, I'm done, here's your money. Like,
cheers, bye.
Cheers. Like, there's no, we're not gelling, this relationship is not working.
And your couples, have you had anyone breaking up?
But I have. And it was such a bad period of time for me that year specifically, because they say everything happens in threes. So I had this one couple, it's terrible anyway. I had this one couple, unfortunately, it seems like there was an altercation between him and her. He might have burnt his fingers a bit, done something he shouldn't have. He got caught and then they broke up. They apparently working on things and I respect them, all more powerful them if the relationship does work out in the end of the day. But we've then already paid a deposit, videographer, we paid a deposit, the DJ, we've paid deposit. The videographer paid everything back, but he did keep the postponement date. The venue allowed us to postpone because we were still in that first 15 to 30 day kind of thing. And the groom's words to me was, can we please postpone? Because I said, can we rather just cancel and you let me know, because you can still get a bit more back if we cancel now. And he's like, no, please postpone, because he needs something to work towards. Like that's the only thing he's clinging on at this stage, because he really loves this bride. So I felt so sorry for him, my heart. On one side I was sorry for him, on the other side I was like, okay, you did mess up, unfortunately, but I really hope everything's well with them and they've worked it out. On my end, because I did so much work, I didn't feel the need to pay anything back, and I had a discussion with him, and he was like, no, you've done so much, we're happy with you keeping your deposit, which is fine. But just after that one happened, I think it wasn't even a week after, I was busy talking to this couple from the UK, and the amazing cute couple, they're both from the UK. It's not like one is South African, one is from the UK, or from London. They both were from them there. They were going to bring all their family and friends, everyone down and do the wedding here because they fell in love with South Africa so much. And amazing, and we started looking at everything, and they were starting reaching out to family and friends, and we got a venue. We were ready to book the venue. It was literally like 2 days before our deadline to pay the venue. And she messaged me and she said, hey Liz, can we just quickly have a discussion? We're having issues with the family not wanting to come down. We're having so many people giving us flack for coming down to South Africa and having our wedding here and not doing it in the UK. It's just becoming so stressful, and they don't want to have any stress or family drama. That's not why they're getting married. They're just going to go to some island and elope. They literally just cancelled all their wedding plans and they're going to elope. And then the discussing came in, they didn't have any vendors booked yet. I've gotten vendors, quotes, contracts, everything. We were at the point of paying the venue and then booking the photographer, videographer, the next steps. The only person they have paid is me. And they said they know they've paid me a deposit, they know it's not refundable due to the contract, but is there any way that I can maybe refund something? And I said, look, I'll give you half back because I've done this legwork, I've done all this admin.
That's a fair.
I've also gone out and did a site visit for you with a few venues, but I'm happy to pay half back if that could make it work. And then they were like, that's perfectly fine. And unfortunately then that happened. And then there was another wedding that I was going to assist on that cancelled. So that was my 3, and I was like, 3 and done.
3 and done comes in 3s.
3 and done.
No, that's terrible. The family and the friends, they just respect the couple's wishes.
It was a very short planning time though. Not short planning time for like 12 months, but for people going abroad 18 months. And I think they have maybe a bit more headstrong family members. So I felt very sad for that. They were a lovely couple.
That is terrible. There's a reason for everything.
There's a reason. Well, there you have it. Wedding warriors, dealing with cancellations and unforeseen circumstances is all part of the wedding planning adventure.
With the right prep, a good attitude and a little flexibility, you can handle anything that comes your way and maybe even turn it into something memorable and special.
Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Bridal Hype.
If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and leave a review. Join us on social media to share your thoughts and connect with our Hype community.
Be sure to catch our next episode. Until next time.
Keep the hype alive.